This is just our time. Just you and me, Jim.
Yeah.
Just
You,
be
me,
natural, be Jim.
and the internet.
So good to see you. I
That's
couldn't get you to get up earlier for this. You're like, what are you talking about? 8 a.m. You and Randy are night owls. That's why.
that, and yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things that we'll talk about later is the freedom of having some technologies in your back pocket.
You're already at the bookend point, which is
Yeah.
good. Yeah. And yes, you maybe change your shirt because that with Rowan this morning, but I didn't want to do another session spotlight with the same shirt on. So I had to go shirts.
The guy doesn't do laundry.
No, he does laundry. He loves ironing, but he shouldn't wear the same shirt.
Yeah.
And there's a thunderstorm rolling in, and it sounds like someone's dragging large pieces of furniture on the upstairs floor.
I can't hear a thing.
Well, if the internet cuts out, that's why, because
Okay.
we get violent thunderstorms in the fall. So how are you doing?
Fantastic.
I like your office.
So do I.
You have an amazing office.
Are you at the
No,
cottage now?
I'm at the cottage. Yep, it's the best time of the year. There's no jet skis going by. And
I can't wait.
you have to get up here sometime. I think that's the idea. Oh, you move your camera.
Did I?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Good.
Okay. Are we going yet?
Well, Jim. Oh, we're already recording. Yeah. This
Okay.
is a friendly banter at the beginning. We're just getting.
Oh, we'll shut them again. Well, then let's banter. I can't wait to come out.
Oh, we've already bantered.
Yeah. Get the good old boys together.
It will be. I've known you a long time. I think it's mostly been up. We haven't had many downs.
We had one. We had the one in, was it DC?
Oh, we're not even going to talk about that. I completely forgot.
Oh, we're recording. Now you can apologize on tape.
I'm so sorry, Jim. There's a rule in a book called So You Want to Be CEO. One of the rules is never surprise the CEO. Even if you think it'll be a good surprise,
Right.
you go into their office and go, staff have a birthday cake and they want to surprise you and come in and sing happy birthday. You never surprise the CEO.
No.
I'll never do that again. I
Especially
thought it was funny at the time.
on stage in front of 600 people and. Yeah.
Don't surprise the CEO. That's all I'm going to say. I wish I had told you and then you could have acted surprised and not been surprised.
Yeah, because then I would have been dropping the bombs.
Right. Oh my gosh. I think I first met you at WATG.
2001, 2002.
2001, 2002.
Yeah, Revit. I remember, you were working on the Freedom Tower, and you did that. Did the top with some voids and some
doing those shapes
lines and things like that. And I went, wow, this guy thinks different.
It's terrified of failure.
Oh,
so some of those ideas. There was a thing on the Trade Center project. We didn't have Revit systems yet, but we had to build things that could accommodate the geometry. And I was terrified of trying to figure out how to control a pipe elbow in multiple directions and angles. And just as vividly as I'm sitting here, I can remember putting my feet on the floor at the hotel. And I thought, I wonder if we can use a void as a jig to control the elbow.
Yeah.
And tried it and it worked. I don't know where the ideas come from. I think you have to stop thinking about things and then you get ideas.
No, that's why they say sleep on it. That's why they say sleep on it, because you wake up in the morning and go, I got it figured out.
I got an idea. I hadn't thought about that before. Let me go try that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they do. You've got, like speaking of your cottage, you've had an extraordinary career. I was joking before in the forum or in our WhatsApp group that your first job in AEC was walking around and sharpening all the quills in the office.
Yeah.
But you would have started probably when CAD was first becoming a thing. CAD was a thing at the beginning for only big companies that could afford space with special air conditioning.
Right, exactly. The first company I worked for, I had discovered VersaCAD, and a told the owner we got to use this for certain things, and I'm like, how about the site plan? Because the site plan was really tight, and he's like, no, 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 and I did it anyway. And I said, hey, you're 8 inches off where the pool is going in the corner of the building, and you're over the setback. And he goes, no, I did it myself. It's all good. Well, he got red flagged and had to stop the project because he was 8 inches over the setback. And from then on, it was just
That
technologies
just taught
to
you to be
help us.
stubborn even more.
Well, that's maybe some of the stuff we're going to talk about is everybody's kind of set in their ways. They've done this for years. This is the way it's always been done, and when you get stuck in your ways, you kind of get left behind, and there are better ways to do these things. And that's kind of where I am as the old gray hair now. I'm like, another new thing.
Yeah, but you use technology. Like you show me pictures from time to time, things you're working on, and you're still doing new tricks. Like it.
Yeah, well, left to my loneliness here, and the thing of it is not being afraid to fail. You
Well,
know,
when you're an office of one, you can fail. Nobody knows.
yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
well, and to that end, I think the statistic holds that 75% of firms are less than 10 people, so 9 people or less, and over a third of those are solo practitioners. And I see the need from the standpoint of business continuity. If you're doing a big hospital project, there has to be business continuity. Staff come and go, and your owner needs confidence that the team is going to be there. But I wonder if we start a countdown to the first million-square-foot hospital done by a solo practitioner using this kind of technology, because your session, are we all becoming ants? The idea of fewer people doing more with technology. Well, I should actually let you. Why do you call it ant group? What was your thinking there?
Well, it started out as architecture and new technologies because those are my two passions. Um, but now it's architects with new technologies, and it's because a small firm. And I was just looking for the article. There was an article that I had written or was interviewed for. It was either E&R or Architectural Record, and I said, "Hey, a small firm nowadays can do what a big firm can do." And I think that's just as the technologies keep coming out, we're going to see that even more and more. And whether it's the big firms getting smaller teams, or and laying people off, or are they going to bring in more work, more diverse work? Is the company that specializes in hospitality, they're going to say, you know what, we can do sports and these other things because the knowledge is so readily available, and the support's readily available and becoming more and more available, and they don't want to let people go, and they want obviously make more money. Um,
Right.
so anyway, architects with new technologies has allowed me to be a sole practitioner for the last 16 years and just love every minute of it.
Every minute?
Good call. Not every minute. No, there's times when I'm there's ups and downs, but the ups are so
Right.
much higher than the downs are low.
Yeah. The freedom to work on the kinds of projects that you really care about.
Right.
Architecture firms, as any company grows, you're having to put people in the process to manage the process. I was speaking with a business owner last week. They've grown since COVID. They've doubled in size, and they have a 10-person team for HR now. And
What?
so
10 people for
complexity breeds
HR?
complexity. What's that?
10 people for just HR?
Yeah. And it's an artifact of COVID. It's an artifact of people working remotely. Monday's remote, Friday's remote. You work in the office in the middle of the week, and different communication styles that have evolved. You know, Kids are going to college from home a couple of years ago, and how that
Right.
affects people's well-being, and so it's complicated, but it's as large. I think, well, if 75%, if a third of 75% of the firms are solo practitioners, I see that number. It's going to get larger
That's what I'm
as
thinking.
fewer people are going to be able to do more work. Like, what would it have taken For the project sizes that you're doing now, what would that have been 30 years ago?
Well, let's, as an example, 5 or 6 years ago, we did, when I say we, Steve Stafford and I, Steve half-time, me
Right.
full-time, we did 135,000 square feet of office tenant improvement that was budgeted for 4.5 people.
Okay.
So a time and a half, so 1.5 people did 3.5 people's worth of work because we knew the process. We had established all of our families in Revit. We established our workflow, and Steve and I happen to be pretty good at Revit. So we were able to do that much work, and that was 5 or 6 years ago before any of those other AI and any of these other things were out.
Right.
And and it was budgeted for 4.5 through WATG, and it's like it was crazy, and they were doing backflips.
Did it feel heavy at the time, or did it just
I
feel like you
know,
were making
not at all.
decisions and they were percolating through?
We were using groups properly. We were using key schedules properly. We using Revit as it was intended to be used.
Right.
Um, we actually, I don't know, I'll give you the numbers, but the interior designer said we can't do all the copy centers, and there was 12 of them, and they were all different sizes, where the copy machine and paper and storage and cabinets. And so they
Sure.
paid us. The interior designer paid the ant group to do it, and I did it in a day. And it's because we had all the families, all these
Well, you've also
fantastic
put in the
families,
time. You did
and
it in a day plus the
they,
25 years.
they paid us, well, exactly.
Yeah.
And all the investment we made in doing our families properly, to where they would work the way we wanted them to work. And it was supposed to take 2 weeks.
I've known solo practitioners to, they do the work they care about. And when they don't have work, they go, yeah, I don't have a project right now. I go like, are you worried about it? And he goes, no.
That's
Someone will see my work on Instagram and they'll reach out, and then I'll work on another project that I want to work on. And
that's where,
so I don't,
yeah,
what's that?
right now, I had a big project just on hold on Friday. I'm
Right.
like, I talked to another architect this morning, and he goes, "You worried?" And I go, "No. I mean, there's some money in the bank. I know that something will turn up." My wife said
Something will
that
come
once.
up.
My wife was always the worry word, and I was worried one time when there was no work, and we were on a walk, and she said, "Jim, you've never been out of work. You've always something's always come up," and I'm like, "Wow, you're right." And, I play into that now. So I went out to breakfast this morning. I'm like, I'm going to go to breakfast. I'm going to think about this chat with Phil, and then the phone rang, and then an architect said, "Hey, I got a job for you." I'm like, "Well, there you
Dang
have it."
it. There you
Yeah,
go.
I'm not sure
There
I'm
is
going to
something
take
to be
them much.
said for having the right kind of approach and attitude and calm. It attracts the right kind of projects. Somehow the universe sends you an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think it's a bit of silver lining for architects that are younger out there, maybe working for, it's a fine firm, but maybe doing work that they're not as interested in. And I've had other solo practitioners say, yeah, I'm killing it. I'm not working all the time, but I can go lean. I don't have an office. I don't have this overhead. I don't have,
Right.
and it still takes judgment and accountability.
Well, that's one
If
thing
you have,
that I think is, and I'm not going to prognosticate, but I think that's one thing that's going to happen is that the firms are going to, the big firms are going to be the big firms, but there's going to be one or two people, and it only takes one or two to split off and start their own firm. And it takes the right personality, but you don't need all the support staff and the modeling and you don't need all the different people. And that's what I discovered, like I said, 16 years ago. I was like, I've got all three
it's
legs to the stool, and now the freedom I've got is unbelievable.
I'm trying to think. I was watching, I don't know if it was with Evan. No, it wasn't with Evan Troxel. It was something else. It was talking about the retail space, how it's changed since the internet. And what's happened is you had a lot of companies in the middle, you have a lot of big companies, and you have a lot of very small companies. And what technology has done is squeeze the medium-sized companies. Because at the extremes, you have Amazon and Walmart,
Right.
and then you have these mom and pop boutique shops.
Especially, yeah.
And it's happened in the coffee space. There's the big coffee companies out there. You can go anywhere in the world. And then there's this small shop where they remember your birthday, and it's a different kind of environment. And the
Yeah.
ones in the middle have really gotten squeezed. And I think that's happening to architects. The large firms have continuity and IP, and they can work on projects where the sun shines 24/7 if they
Right,
need to.
exactly. Those are the
And the
WPD.
small firms that, like, if somebody calls you for a project or wants to talk, they're not going to get a receptionist and voicemail and dial by name directory. They're going to get Jim.
Right, exactly.
Love it. That's what
Yeah.
they really want anyway.
Well,
Anyone can draw drawings. They want Jim.
and that's I had breakfast with Steve Shell at AU.
Oh, why are you bragging now?
Oatmeal. We had
Name
oatmeal.
dropping.
We had our oatmeal. Yeah, the rock
If only
star.
we could all be so lucky.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Steve and I were talking, and he goes, I'm a sole practitioner, and I get my arms around the whole thing, and I go, you know what? I always thought that I'd have a few people, and I go, you know what? I'm going to be in charge. I'm going to be the designer, the modeler. So there's no translation, right? And where I needed help was in code checks and that kind of stuff with upcodes and AI now, and I'm cranking stuff out.
But does it feel like you're, kind of manically pulling dials and turning knobs, or does it feel like, oh, I need to do this thing?
No,
Let me
that's
ask something a question, or let me.
yeah. So getting that workflow,
Right.
and being the only one, so you don't have to communicate. You're not communicating with another person. Um, I just bid a project and got it, and it should have taken 6 weeks, and it took me like 2.5 weeks because everything went from here into Revit and then to the owner for approval and back. It
There's
was
no
so,
lost in translation.
yeah, exactly. And I've been working on our workflow here and like I said, our families and our content. And that workflow is, I don't know. It's like if you have a place for your keys and you always put your keys in that same place, they're always going to be there. And you always know
Sure.
it's a kind of a habit. Well,
Yeah.
when you have a workflow, well, how do I do this? How do I typically do my vicinity maps? How do I do this? I've gotten all those answers now. So I don't have to think about it. I don't have to design the process anymore.
You don't have to remember where you put
I
it.
go here for this, I go here for that, and boom, boom, boom. And it just kind of falls together. Um, it's a beautiful thing. Um, yeah. And my proposals used to take me 3 to 4 hours to do. And now they take 45 minutes because I've recognized where I was wasting time and hemming and hawing over fees. I've got a fee calculator now, and I just built it in Excel. Here's the numbers.
Right.
Here's what's happening. Boom, there's the fee, and I print that and I send it to them, the people. And here's the background of where I got my fee numbers from. And they're like, okay, that's the fee, right? Everybody thinks you pull a fee out of the backside, and no, it's a convoluted thing.
Right.
Yeah.
What's this thing about you and pickleball? Why do I keep seeing your name pop up with all these pickleball projects? How did that get started?
Well,
Did you win a pickleball court over a poker game? What was the
no, 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 no. I was given pickleball paddles in 2019 for my birthday. I'm like, what the hell is pickleball? And then during COVID, I was online playing poker with some friends, and one of the gals said, "Hey, anybody want to learn how to play pickleball?" And I go, "Well, I got paddles. I'll try it." But it's the I've always been a competitive guy, um, and loves any kind of sports, and I like competing. And I'm the guy that can't go to the gym every day and just lift weights because I got to be doing something. Whenever I go to the beach, I'd have to be playing smash ball or in the water body surfing or whatever. I couldn't just sit there. And when this came along, and I hadn't, I used to play 4 or 5 sports a week, and hadn't, and I'd grown the belly and done all that good stuff. And I go, well, I finally, and I did it, and I found it, and I got hooked, and And then USA Pickleball called and said, "Hey, we need somebody to draw some courts for us." And
Wait a minute. Somebody who knows pickleball and somebody who knows how to design? Who's
yeah,
that guy?
put them
You're in the
together.
right place at the right time.
Yeah, so they just kind of fell together, and I became the architect for USA Pickleball, and then for another organization, which I've since dropped. It just wasn't working. But um, there's a lot that people think
What do you
just.
love about it? Because you love it. You love
Well,
it. You
I
talked
love the
about the
sport.
social aspect. It's a fast moving game and
Exactly. It's and the games are quick. It
right.
gives you that you can run, get some exercise, move a little bit, sweat. But when it comes to designing a facility, there's a lot more that goes into it than people think. So, if you want to have tournaments, you got to have space for vendors and referees and check-in and spectators, et cetera. And how's that going to operate? And then how does that influence your normal day-to-day pickleball? It's just there's a lot that goes into it.
There's a
And
lot that goes into it. The spectator areas, the way
yeah,
everything ties in.
right. And there is, and I learned a lot through the USA Pickleball contacts, and it's very interesting. So I've designed over 600 courts now, and
Well, you spoke at a conference about that
I've
as
spoken at
well.
several. I spoke at the World Conference, and I think I've spoken at 3 or 4 conferences. PickleCon in Kansas City. It's interesting. It's kind of a niche. Working on one
I don't
in
know, Jim. I could
Hawaii.
go past the tennis court here in the middle of nowhere and there's people playing pickleball, unless there's lightning and
Yeah,
thunderstorms.
exactly.
And it's not like young people, it's like every age group. I see grandparents playing with grandkids, and it's like,
Just
how many sports can you do that,
just three
across
months ago,
generations?
just 3 months ago, like April, May, they said that the fastest growing age group was 18 to 24, 18 to 30. So yeah, there's young kids are coming in going, "Hey, this is kind of fun. It's not just for the old folks." Gray hairs and bald
Oh,
dudes.
that's great. I'm looking forward to having you. Finally, you're coming along to an event and you're going to be amongst friends. I think you'll know a few of the names there.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny.
About
I
it.
got a text message from Scott Brown last Friday, and I was going up to last Wednesday. I was going up to Santa Barbara to visit Scott Brown, and
Another Scott
I
Brown.
woke. Yeah, it's different Scott Brown. I said, "Hey, I'm glad you're coming." Oh no, he was. It's going to he was a drummer in the band, and he goes. It says, "I'm glad you're coming to see us." And I'm like, "How does he know?" He's just a drummer in the band. I happen to know who he is, but it was Scott Brown, Florida Scott Brown. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys used to work together.
Yeah.
So it's going to
Yeah.
be,
We
it'll
had
be
a good
amongst friends. There's a
group.
tennis court there. I mean, I don't know if we could turn the net sideways or even if there's a thing to put the net on.
The net, tennis net is 2 inches higher than a pickleball net, but
Yeah, but it's not as long. And you don't have to chase it. Like when you're learning to play tennis, if you miss hit the ball, it goes all the way over the fence or all the way into the next 3 courts down. It's so
we,
embarrassing.
yeah, in pickleball, we were playing pickleball once, and then they put us on tennis courts with temporary nets and tape for lines. And I looked around, I'm like, tennis court's huge. It's
Right? Yeah.
giant.
I got to hit the ball all the way over there and make it stay in. It's
Yeah,
hard.
exactly.
No, you've got an extraordinary range of experience. You've always been customer facing and miss seeing you 4 times a year at conferences, but we'll get to see you for a week down. Oh,
Yeah.
even as a solo practitioner, I want to emphasize that if you're looking for a way to recharge and hear what other experienced architects are
Well,
doing,
I was talking to someone about your event, and I said it's an unconference or unplugged, or as you call it, acoustic. It's no alcohol. It's out in nature, and it's more about inner work than it is about outer work, in my
yeah,
mind.
we
And
need time to unplug and do some non-thinking for a little
well,
bit.
I did want to make a point that when I started Ant Group, I had a business coach. Someone to help me talk about seeing things from the other side, using the right vocabulary and whatnot, and the way to look at approaching a job, finishing a job, and et cetera. And she pointed out to me, she goes, even the best quarterbacks and running backs have coaches. Because why shouldn't a business person have a coach to help them do better business? Business is not doing business as a sole practitioner. It's not a slam dunk. You gotta continue to work on yourself. So I have been looking forward to this for a long time and wanting to get back. My business coach and I worked together for 13 years in the first 14 years of my existence, and it had run its course. And that's the best decision I ever made, best money I ever spent. So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to working with Randy and the rest of the group.
Be awesome. I'll see you in
You blinked out there. I can't
see you
hear
in
you now.
5 weeks.
5 weeks.
I
Yeah,
know. Well, it's I can hear the thunder rumbling. I don't know if it's the
yeah.
TV internet.